Hey, welcome to episode 5 of Kickstart the Mothership. And here I am. My name's Barbara Nixon, and I have got my lovely co-host, Shannon Stone.
Shannon.
From across the other side of the globe.
Yes, across the opposite side of the world.
Yes, we could literally put. I wonder if we could dig a tunnel from my house, would it actually get to you? Probably not.
Yeah, I'd like to know what happens on the tail end when you get to the spiders.
Exactly. We run when
we
spiders
run back
come into our tunnel. And we don't want any of those spiders. So it's episode 5 already, Shannon. Episode 5, and we have got a brand new book, and our book is Joyrider by the lovely Angela Scanlon.
It's a good one.
It was a really good one. Now, this is a book that came into my vortex quite by accident, and I think I was trying to remember how I came across it, because I just want to kind of put it into context. I know nothing about Angela. I know you know a bit more because you've listened to her on Audible, so at least you know what she sounds like. I knew nothing. Yeah, I knew nothing about Angela, and that was one of the things that actually attracted me to the book. I wanted a self-helpy kind of book that was coming from a place that I knew nothing about, as in I didn't know the author, I didn't know any background. You know, I wasn't drawn to it for any other reason other than, oh, it sounds like a really good read. So, and I think the book floated into my sphere of existence just on the internet, if I'm honest. I think somebody posted about it, maybe
that
on Instagram.
Old thing.
That old thing, that old chestnut, that thing that just keeps popping up every day.
That'll send you things.
I know. So it popped along, and I thought, right, let's do this. And I think I sent you a message saying, this is our next book, and off we went.
Yeah, well, I loved it when you sent it to me, because it's not one that I had heard of. And Angela Scanlon, I'm just going to call her Angela because we're first name basis, because I listened to it through Audible, and it gets a bit like that because you hear the author straight in your head. But it's always nice to get that little curveball that is not the common one you hear all the time, which is no correlation to the substance and how amazing the book actually is, which we'll find as well as we continue reading through it. But yeah, it's a good one.
It is a good one. So if you are playing along, the link is in the show notes. Today we're going to kind of set the scene and just talk about what we loved so far, because we're both halfway through it, and we wanted to do this on purpose. We didn't want to come with a full that we've read it and we've done everything by week 1. The idea, if you've been listening to the other episodes, and if you haven't, then go and check them out. The idea is that we kind of learn about the book as you do and implement as we go. So for the next 4 weeks, we're going to be continuing to read the book, implementing some stuff, and having that deep dive and chat about it every single week.
Yeah. Come on the joyride with us.
Come on the joyride, yes. So like I said, all the links that you need are underneath in the show notes. But what were your first thoughts then? Because you're further on than me. You listened on Audible. I had it on Kindle, but I was struck down by the dreaded COVID halfway through. So I'm picking up. So what were your thoughts?
Yeah, well, when I started listening to it, I love that it was on Audible as well, because sometimes, you know, it's like, how do you find the lesser known books in all the different places? So I was happy it was on there. But I was gardening at the time. I was cleaning up the backyard and pulling weeds, and I thought, well, let me plug in a book to listen to, and it came from your recommendation. But my first initial thoughts, it actually, probably the feeling was when I started listening to it, it was like just a ripping off the Band-Aid. And if you listen to Angela, she's got this amazing Irish accent, and I love different accents, but there's something, I guess, you know, Australian accents are probably the complete opposite. But there's just like a real rawness, and it's probably the way she's written the book as well. But the way it comes across is like, wow, this is actually the real deal. There's something to this. And my initial thoughts is she's got a story to tell and I can relate to a lot of things. I don't know what she's about to tell me, but she seems like someone who's been where I want to go. She's got like things to tell me that would be really insightful. And just a real friend, I guess, through a book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting that you had that experience, because I didn't have the Audible. I was just reading on Kindle, and I got the same vibe. It felt like,
I love that. Yeah.
I didn't get her accent, obviously, but she was sat down in the kitchen with a cuppa and she was telling me all the stuff. So it was a very nice and easy read, but you were learning stuff as you went along. And yeah, you could really relate to everything that she was saying. So, and one of the things that she said that I really related to, excuse me, was this idea of being a chameleon, and just morphing into what was needed in that situation that you're in. And I really remember and can relate to that, because I've been in that situation so many times where you in different experiences and you kind of adapt to suit the experience. So whether you were having different jobs or whether you go into, just working with different people or spending time with different people, you kind of just morph to suit what you think is required in that time. Do you remember that bit?
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, and it's probably a generational thing, or where we're kind of in society as well. It's like we wear so many different hats. And to some degree, it is required where you're the mum, but then you're the business owner, but then you're the coach, but then you're the mentee. There's so many different roles that we wear, and we do, I think there is a good part to it where we do have to morph into different things. And who do I need to be in this moment? But I think with that comes, well, who am I actually? What beneath all of that, without having to morph into anything, what am I actually? Who am I actually? Yeah, so that one did stick out to me as well.
And it's such a powerful question. Who am I? Who am I really? Who am I underneath all of this stuff? And to me, it went a little bit further than just wearing different hats, because when you're wearing different hats, you're still you. So when you're a mum or when you're the coach, you've got the essence of you. For me, I could remember, certainly times years ago. I don't do it now. I don't at all, to be honest, maybe because I'm older, but it's certainly in my 20s, I'd go to places and you try and fit in, don't you? And it just, you do lose a little bit of yourself, and you think, well, who am I? Who am I? What would I be like if I was just being me right now? So it's a question I don't think we ask ourselves often enough.
Yeah. And you know what's actually interesting for that, now that you bring it up that way as well, have you ever done, I'm sure you've done personality tests and things like that, but have you ever done EDIS or any of those type of ones? EDIS.
I've done DISC before, but yeah.
Oh, well, I think it's the same thing. I don't know if there's much of a difference. So I've done the EDIS 2 times. I did it. The second time was 2019 when I went to Tony Robbins. It was somehow a part of that. And then I did it maybe 2016, so 3 years apart. The first time I did it, the EDIS personality profiling, the results, they came back as they were. And then when I compared my second lot of results, they were actually very different, like extremely different. And the first time I did that profiling, I went to like a practitioner or someone who specialized in it. But the second time it was through the Tony Robbins program, so delivered by different people, but still the same tests and things like that. So I went back to the first practitioner and I said, like, these are my results and they're very different from the first time. Like, what does that tell me? And so basically the second results showed that I was very much a people person, like 98%. Whereas the first lot of results, I can't even remember, but it was not that high, and it probably wasn't one of the big chunk things that stood out. And so it kind of shows to me like how things can evolve. And when you put yourself in certain scenarios, like you literally become a different person. And, in that 3-year period, I was growing my business. I was meeting a lot of people. I was going to a lot of events. And I've just come off a Tony Robbins event, spent all that time with 8,000 people jumping up and down, like that high energy kind of thing. So, even like the data starts to support that we do evolve as people, and it can, that chameleon thing. I think there is a good part to it, but we can change.
Yeah, we can change. It's such a good story, and yeah, I love the fact that you had both results to compare each other to. It reminds me of that quote, excuse me, and I think it was that Jim Rohn quote that says you're a sum total of the 10 people that you spend most of your time with. And that again supports that theory that the more people we kind of morph into our surroundings and our experiences and the people, and we all kind of sync with each other and rub off on each other. And again, there's that other great saying that's behavior breeds behavior. So we all kind of rub along. And but as a result, going back to this powerful question, we need to be asking ourselves, who am I? Yeah, who am I? And that's not any excuse me, that's not an easy question to answer.
It isn't. And just side note, poor Barbara is recovering from COVID, so she's got a bit of a cough there, but
yeah, I'm going to keep muting and drinking and coughing, so just excuse all of my coughing. Yeah, so I think that my takeaway, and maybe it wasn't the right time to do it, was one of the things that I certainly did was write down in my journal, who am I? Who am I? And I say it wasn't the right time to do it because I was, ill at the time, kind of laying on the sofa, binge watching box sets. So it's something that I'm going to revisit, and it's something that I do actually do with my clients, but it's not something that I've done for a while for myself. So if you're playing along, why don't you have a go as well? Just get your journal out, write down who am I at the top of your page, and just free write and see what pops up.
I'm writing it down.
Yeah, have a go, Shannon.
You know what question I do ask probably much more often than that, but I am going to do the homework on who am I. I more so ask myself, who do I want to be? And it's always like, the future pacing. It's like, who do I want to be? Who do I want to become? And I love, like, that's probably my favorite type of personal development, anything future focused, where I can dream up a vision or who I want to be in, that type of thing. But what I also realized with that is it's always like I'm living in the future, but I'm never really being here right now. And so I think that question of who am I right now is actually a really important one, because at least for me anyway, like I was always, okay, well, how can I be the best version of myself, and always live into that, but never really acknowledging, well, what are the good parts of me right now? So I think that's a really important one to look at. So I will be doing that homework for sure. Who am I?
Yeah, we'll have to report back and see what we find out, because I'm a future focused kind of person. I really like to deep dive into what's coming and who do I want to evolve into, and all of that good stuff. That's fun to do, isn't it? And sometimes it can be a little bit hard. It can be like walking through treacle to actually look at where you are right now. It's that kind of opening up the curtains and being super honest and vulnerable with yourself, and going, I'm going to say painful work sometimes, where you just go, okay, who am I?
It's like a reality check, isn't it? It's like you can't hide from it. It's like staring at you black and white.
Yeah, but also to do it honestly and with love, because it's so easy again for you to put those look at yourself through that critical lens and think of all the stuff that you don't like about yourself and go, oh, who am I? Oh, I'm this person, or I'm disorganized, or I'm always late, or whatever it might be. Or but it's to really remind yourself to be honest and keep asking yourself, am I really? Is that really me? Am I being honest? So just to be really mindful that you're not being too, overly critical with your perspective of what you're writing down.
Yeah, one of the things Tony Robbins says that because I also, after that Tony Robbins event, I was working with the Tony Robbins coach. So I got very immersed in the world. but they say see it for what it is, not any worse or any less than what it is. So it's just, just see it for what it is. So look at, who am I? What does it actually look like on paper, black and white? Don't embellish it. Don't criticize yourself. It's just, it is what it is. Because it's like, once you have the facts, you can move on from there.
You can do something, exactly. And what a great place to start. I think that's a great piece of homework for us already, straight off the bat.
Definitely. Anything else that stood out to you in the early phases of the book? I know one thing that stood out to me was this thing, and we've touched on it before, was about the amazing thing about all of this is we get to learn a lot of things about ourselves. And that's a never-ending thing, and that can be a really good thing. But then at the same time, we're forever learning a lot about ourselves, and that's a never-ending thing. And I know I've had a bit of a headbutt and a battle with that. This is like, I just want it to be over. I just want to get to the bottom of it. I've done the thing, I've done the homework, I've done the journal, whatever it is, and I just want to get to the end of it. But I think we have to realize, and what Angela talks about in Joyrider, is it's a good and a bad thing that we continue to get to learn about ourselves.
Yeah, I know we did talk about it briefly in one of our previous episodes, didn't we, about exactly this conversation where you said, I'd quite like it to be done. I'd like to just tick that box and go, yes, I've done my personal development. Now, I've never felt like that, if I'm perfectly honest. I really enjoy
No wonder you're a coach. You were born to be it. Yeah.
So, but personal development has been just a part of my life for such a long time that I kind of enjoy the constant learning. And even if, because somebody asked me this question the other week, actually, where it might have been Dave, who's my husband, he might have gone, I think it was him that said, we love Dave. Aren't you just bored of always reading personal development stuff? And I says, but even if you're reading the same kind of idea, you'd read in different ways of, just a different way of looking at
different
something.
Perspectives, different stories, which is what I loved about this book, because she has such a real, like, it could be like my friend telling me this is what I went through and their story of it, versus a Tony Robbins or, some of the big people in the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes you just need to hear it a different way.
Yeah.
Just a different way. But I loved the first part of the book because it was quite autobiographical, wasn't it? Where she told her story and wove the lessons.
Which I love that, by the way, because often in books where you take a lot of lessons away, it's like you'll get through one chapter and it's like, and here's your homework to do, and here's another chapter, and here's your homework to do. And again, singing to my love-hate with personal development and wanting it to be over. It's like, I just want to hear the story. I don't want to be told what to do. I just want to hear the story, and I will take what I wish from that.
Yes, I completely understand what you're saying. It was so nice to just be told the story, and you remember the stories as a result of that, and you do kind of just glean the learning from it without actually being told, do this piece of homework now, and if you get into the answer, here's your homework. So it was really refreshing to have a personal development book that was just not preachy.
Yeah. Like, let humans make their choices from what they hear, maybe.
And I'm a fan of preachy books as well, but I did really like this. I found it really refreshing. So what other pieces of learning did you get? What else did you pop up on your list?
I think the gratitude as well. There's definitely a thread of gratitude growing through the book, leaning on that gratitude. And it's something that I think I've always can always have so much more of. But in recent years with the self-helpy journey and things like that, it really starts to take gratitude to the next level. What about you? What did you take tidbits about gratitude away as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So gratitude is definitely a theme running through it. And this is something that I don't think we do enough of. So I talk about gratitude a lot, and I teach it in my programs, and I invite my clients to practice gratitude. But it took me a long time to get on the gratitude train, because I felt like I don't know, I couldn't get into the vibe. I just couldn't get in that moment. I found it really difficult to get into the vibe of, oh, I'm grateful for my house, or I'm grateful for my bed, or I'm grateful for the car. And I felt like I was just saying the things, And so for the longest time, I focused more on celebrating. And I started a celebration journal, and I've done it for years, where it was the same kind of thing, but it was just came from a different angle. So it was a different energy. So I was celebrating things that happened every single day. But then, I'm trying to think how long ago it was, maybe a few years back, I was listening to Abraham Hicks, excuse me, Abraham Hicks, and Esther Hicks was talking about the gratitude rampage, where you just literally go for it, and you're grateful, and you just literally stand there and go, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. And I loved that. I really, really loved that. And so that kind of kickstarted my love for gratitude.
Is that the 17-second, is it her that does the 17-second gratitude rampage?
I don't know whether it's 17 seconds. Maybe it is, because I've heard that before, but I might not. It might have just
it could be. Yeah. That's a good reminder. Get back on the gratitude rampage.
Yeah, I get. And what I loved about this was she was saying, try and be grateful for the most ordinary things. So when you get up in the morning, be grateful for she said that she's got a sheepskin rug next to her bed that her feet felt soft on, and be grateful for the clothes that she was wearing. And I don't think we do that often enough, like be grateful in the moment. And I think that's the big takeaway, because I practice gratitude, but I kind of do it in either a rampage, or I do it on my notebook, or, you do it in the shower, but you do it kind of all at once in a list format almost. Whereas I love the idea of just switching it up a little bit and just being more grateful as the day goes on. Oh, I'm grateful for this conversation with you, and I'm grateful for, the cup of tea that I've got next to me, and I'm grateful for, being warm inside. And so
I love that. I think I have picked up on doing the gratitudes throughout the day, especially, I don't know, I like to think I do it in all areas, but I know I especially do it in my work, in my business. And I'm always leaving, so after my client sessions, I'll leave like a little love note. I'll be like, oh my God, they were the best client ever. And just kind of like solidifying those good feelings. Like yesterday I had a really good meeting with someone, but I was anticipating it could go any way, and it went really well. And so afterwards I was like just reiterating that really good feeling, and having a dance party, and just feeling all the good vibes.
Yeah, I like to do that as well. Once you start feeling great, just riding that wave and kind of, pumping it up a little bit, so you can just kind of immerse yourself in it.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a good one. The other thing that I loved what she said was, be grateful for the moments where and these aren't her words, by the way, but it's the idea of be grateful for the moments where you can't seem to find any gratitude. For the days that aren't going so well, or maybe you're stuck in traffic, and try and find something that you're grateful for. And I think she told a story about that, when maybe she was late for work or something, and that you're already late for work, so you might as well think, well, I'm grateful for the time that I've got now, just hanging out outside the office, because it's so easy to get swept along by being annoyed by stuff.
And it snowballs as well. It just snowballs. It spills over into everything. Definitely, I do like that. It's like being grateful for things when you maybe are feeling a certain way. I know for me, I now come back to like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's like, do I have food? Do I have water? Do I have shelter? Okay. And then I can just take a breath. Yeah.
You're okay. Today's a good day, right? Today's a good day. And I was having that conversation with somebody yesterday, actually, and it was a friend of mine, and they were just having a hacked off day, and they were like, oh, everything's going wrong. And I'm an annoying friend sometimes, because sometimes you just want to have a moan, and I'm not that person. So
you're a coach.
I'm a coach, and I just need to turn it off sometimes. And I sat there and I went, well, everything's going wrong. I said, well, we're having a nice time. I said, this is nice. And she went, yes, we're having a nice, but everything's going wrong. Well, what else, really? And so I think in those moments we have to just force ourselves to just start looking, because it's so easy to just, like you said, snowball. And before long, when you start looking for everything being wrong, you'll notice everything being wrong.
Yeah. And like it has such a ripple effect as well. Like there's a lot of science, like it affects your immune system, it affects your mental health. Like I saw something once, I think like a 60-second burst of an argument or something like that, it takes, I think for every 60 seconds, it takes like 20 minutes of recovery of your immune system. So you're still feeling the effects long after that, like peak of, in that case, anger. I don't know if the numbers are specific, but it was something like that, like a fraction of that feeling flows on to have a bigger effect. And I think on the good side as well, it's like gratitude, like it builds yourself, it builds your nervous system, it builds all these things, and it helps you to function. So it's like we might be talking about something simple like, you know, I love the sheets on my bed or the slippers when I put my toes, like whatever it is, but actually it's like the small things are the big things.
Oh, totally excuse me. And then you start noticing all the stuff, and that's when people say, oh, the opportunities start coming in. Those opportunities were always there, but you just never spotted them before. You just tuned in to start attracting all of the good stuff. So I think that's probably a great place for us to start this week. What do you reckon, Shannon?
I love this. This is like, even just talking about it, sharing about it, it's like made, uplifted me a lot.
I know.
Even more.
So let's just play a little game then whilst we're on. Should we do a bit of a gratitude rampage between ourselves just for about 30 seconds or so? Just
yeah.
So out of 10, where would you say that you are now? So 10 being the best you've ever felt, and 0 being not that great. Where
in
do you
this moment?
Yeah, in this right now.
Yeah, I would say I'm pretty up there. I would say I'm like a solid 9, if not a 10. I feel like there's nothing wrong in this moment.
I feel like I'm probably a 9.5. The cough is annoying me, to be honest. So I'm going to go for a 9, just because I'd be a 10 if I wasn't still ill. So shall we see if we can get up to like a 15?
Let's go off the charts. That's what we like to do. We like to, we start high.
We go extra. I heard, it might have been your mate Tony Robbins, I think it was on a Tony Robbins podcast where, and I'm going to butcher this now, where he said, he might have said what successful people do when they say, can you do 10 push-ups? So what would a successful person do if you asked them to do 10 push-ups?
They would do them.
They would do 10. Well, yeah, but whereas he said, no, they'd do 11. And I kind of like that. And I went, oh, Tony, again, you've got us. So that's the thing, right?
I feel annoyed for not, like, am I a successful person because I didn't think what the successful person would do. Now I'm dropping to an 8. I'm dropping to an 8.
You've gone down. So what do you do when you do push-ups? You definitely go extra. I know you really well.
I actually do extra because, and it could be like, I'm so hard on myself. I'm like, no, that wasn't a good push-up or whatever the situation. That was a half attempt push-up. So I have to make up for it. So I always do more than what I meant to do.
Yeah. So in answer to your question, you are a successful person. Are you a 9 again now? Have I managed to kind of creep you back up?
We're getting up there.
Right, let's see how we feel then once we've done a bit of a gratitude rampage. So how should we do it? Just one after the other? So
yeah,
I'll say
like a bit of ping pong.
Yeah, let's just go. Okay, I'm grateful for hanging out with you tonight.
Yeah, honestly, that's going to be my gratitude back. I'm grateful that we get to have these calls, and there's so much I could go on about the way we connect with each other.
Yeah, exactly. I'm grateful for Zoom because it's pretty cool tech, isn't it? Pretty cool tech. Anyway, I'll talk about that later. You carry on.
Yeah, I'm grateful today, as I shared with you privately, I'm attending an event, the first event since COVID. Oh my God.
God, what will that be like?
Like 8-9 hours of just like, I'm going to get dressed. I'm going to drive my car like beyond my radius of my suburb. I'm going all out.
Well, you know where you're going. Well, you know what to do. Will the car know how to get out of your bubble?
I know.
It reminds me of, the film Truman Show. Have you seen it?
No.
I haven't seen that. So the Truman Show is like a Jim Carrey film. You should watch it. Where he's the main character in a real life reality show, but he doesn't know that he's the main character. So all of his life has been filmed. So he's literally living in a dome. So that's
my God, that's how I feel. Yeah.
Escape your dome. I feel grateful that it's the school holidays and I'm kind of hanging out a lot with my youngest right now, and we're just chilling and bonding, which is lovely.
Amazing. I'm grateful for my organization skills. Like, there's something about it. I think that's why I felt like a 10 when you asked. It's like I was up at 2:30 this morning, had a call at 3, got organized at 5, spoke to you at 6. I know what I'm doing after, and just that little bit, it just makes me feel very organized.
This is where you and I are at polar opposites of the scale. You're very much a Libra, aren't you? You are Libra off the scale. No,
well,
Virgo.
I'm a Virgo.
You're a Virgo. Yep. You're not
technically
Libra.
a Virgo, but because I'm an August baby, I feel a little bit of a Leo, and then maybe a little bit Libra. So I'm a chameleon. That's really what it comes down to.
But you don't want to do that anymore. You want to be authentically you. You see, I'm a Leo, but I'm a little bit further in than you. So I do.
What's your date?
21st.
Oh, so I'm 29. So we're really close.
Yeah, but I am more Leo tendencies than a Virgo. So I am not organized. I am not going to be up at 3:30 or ready to go to an event. I'll be 2 minutes before I'm going, okay, where is it? Where am I going? What's the date? We just to tell you a funny story about that, we went to my daughter's graduation and she sent the tickets. She'd got the university to send the tickets to me. So it had a letter of where to park and what the arrangements were and what time she had to pick up a gown. And I didn't look. I just opened the envelope and I got the tickets. Like, yeah, I've got the tickets. And then on the day, Dave was going, you do know there's all this info in here that we all kind of need to know. I'm like, oh, yeah. Whereas you'd have had that pinned up on your fridge or something. I'd like, it'll be all right. Everything works out. So
that's something to be grateful for. Like, I could borrow a little bit of that from time to time. So yeah, I love that.
I need to get kind of, if you could rub your organization skills off my way, that'd be good. I'd be grateful for that. Okay, what else am I grateful for? I'm grateful for we've had a good summer. We had a bit of rain, but we've had some really nice weather, which has
had a heat wave.
We had a heat wave, which was really cool. So we'd not done that before. Had a bit of a heat wave. We got record temperatures. What about you?
Love that. I'm grateful for, I'm about to enter what I call my festive season, and it kicks off in August. So August is all the birthdays. My birthday August, daughter's birthday September, October's Halloween, November is Diwali, the Indian New Year, Christmas in December, so I'm just about to get going on my celebration, my festive season. I love celebrations. I love
think
events.
That's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I want to kind of I'm going to watch that from afar. We have August. I kind of claim all of August, so because it's my birthday month, but I just celebrate all through August.
I love that. Yeah,
we don't have anybody in September, but then obviously we run up to Christmas after that, and Halloween's quite big in our house as well, so I'm grateful for that.
Love it.
So how do you feel now? Are we off the
10.
scale?
Off the scale. We're not doing 10s.
You need to be up there. I'm about a 15 now.
Yeah. Off the scales, definitely. I've risen up from the 8. And it's sometimes good to like ping pong and bounce it, even if it's by yourself doing it. It really does help. I think a good little trick is when the microwave is on, like, we don't put anything in the microwave for too long. So can you just shout some gratitudes while that's running? If you use a microwave. I know people don't.
Yeah.
Do you use a microwave, Barbara?
I do use a microwave. Yes, I do.
Good.
Do you have a kettle, Shannon? Do you boil?
We have kettles down under. Like the water's not that hot coming out of the tap in Australia.
I don't know whether you put it on the stove or do you actually plug in a kettle?
Plug in an electric kettle. I do. Yeah.
So I do all of these gratitude rampages in the in-between phases of my day. So when the kettle's boiling, when the microwave's pinging, when the pasta's cooking, all those things that you just waiting for the lights to green and all of those bits and pieces. Yeah, we can squeeze them all in. So if you are playing along, this week is all about leaning into gratitude. You can tag us on Instagram at Kickstart the Mothership.
Kickstart the Mothership, yeah.
Yes, so tag us, get us involved in your conversation. We want to know all about your gratitude practices. And remember, it is a practice. It doesn't have to be perfect. So just go for it. Imperfect action all the way. We're going to be posting about our gratitude journey this week. And do go over to where you would listen to the podcast and hit subscribe, write a review, because we'd be really, really happy if you did, and share this with anybody you think would actually
it would bump our gratitude up to like a 20.
It really would. We need a bit of that. So yeah, share and write a review and subscribe and join in. So all the bits and pieces that you need are in the show notes, and we're going to be back next week to report back.
Yeah, we'll keep on reading and we'll see what comes up. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Okay, thank you so much for hanging out with us today, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.